Welcome back to Two Men One Beer. This is episode 2. I'm surprised we actually got through to episode 1. It was a very hot and sweaty episode, and it still is because we're filming back to back. So
no, we're just wearing the same clothes.
So please comment below of what you thought of the first episode and what you thought of this one, so we can constantly improve.
Yeah, we'd be very grateful.
So the last episode, the first segment we did, we introduced ourselves and how we met and stuff. This time we think, to cover some time, we're actually going to talk about a shared passion.
Eating food, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So me and JB constantly go out to eat at random places and spend all our money. It's a surprise we have.
Unhealthy habit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the few things that we share together. So JB, what is your favourite cuisine? We'll talk about that one first.
Okay. Probably my top one is just top on the list, right? Cool. It's probably Japanese food.
Japanese. What about Japanese food?
I think a lot of the dishes are very unique.
Okay. How so?
So, when do you ever eat raw fish? I think that's not very common.
I never eat raw fish.
They'll have dishes like natto. Have you ever had that?
What's that?
Fermented soybeans, and surprisingly, it's a superfood, and not a lot of people like it because it's very slimy. But I thought it was okay. It wasn't too bad. I think a lot of people are scared to taste it because it's infamous for being bad. But
where did you have it in Japan?
No, I just had it restaurant, a Japanese restaurant. I didn't try it in Japan, unfortunately, but what I did try in Japan is sushi, and I tried this thing. So I was always curious because there would always be uni, which is sea urchin, and people would describe it as creamy, and I've always found it really bizarre that people would describe sushi creamy. But when I tried it there, it's probably one of the best things I've ever had. Unfortunately, I can't. It's not the same here in the UK.
Yeah.
It's not. But it was really good. But I know you've had a different experience when it comes to sushi because
I think it's one of the worst things ever invented. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that, but if I'm going to pay top money, I want my food to be cooked. I don't want it to be uncooked, wrapped around in seaweed and rice, and I'd rather have cooked fish on top of cooked rice with no seaweed.
But having sushi at a restaurant is completely different from getting it from a supermarket.
Yeah, but the first sushi I had is a famous chain of
Where did you have it?
Where I worked. Do you remember where I worked for 4 days and quit?
Did you have sashimi?
I don't know what I had. Whatever I had was, I did not like it, and I never touched this thing since. I just think it's overhyped, overrated. I can see why people might like it. It's rice. It's a rice packet basically of well, fish is quite strong, isn't it? Like uncooked and cooked. I think it brings out different flavors compared to other proteins.
I would say it's a bit more subtle.
It's one thing I can smell. So
right,
say you go to a market. So we got one here in Oxford. You walk in there, straight away there's fish.
True.
Straight away you smell. Even if it's on the other side and there's a bakery before it, you can still smell the fish before you do it.
I think that's just general with seafood though. I think they just all share the same smell. But I would say the same for the butchers.
Yeah.
I would say if you go to a butcher's, you smell blood in the air.
But yeah, so I like fish. I like it cooked. I like seafood. But I don't like sushi. I would not pay whatever it is. What's that chain? Is it Yo Sushi that has a conveyor belts?
Yeah.
You got pay per sushi, whatever it is. Nah, that's nothing. I want my food not to move in front of me, please. Yeah. So I think sushi is probably one of the few things that I don't eat. I eat a lot of things, as you can tell, but sushi is something that just doesn't appeal to my taste buds, I'm afraid.
Sushi to me, I don't know. To me, it's really interesting how our opinions contrast with that. Because I think honestly, sushi is one of the most unique and the most. It's just you'll just never find anything like it. So, and there's no substitute for me. There's no substitute of sushi. It's like you go sushi or nothing. Like,
you can substitute it with cooked fish.
it's not the same, is it? I don't know. It's me. It's just.
To be fair, I like most fish. I don't like salmon. That's one fish I don't go.
Okay. Did you? I think salmon is probably okay. I do prefer tuna, but salmon is just a lot easier to. It's cheaper as well. It's not too bad.
I think tuna is probably my most ate fish, mainly because I had tuna sandwiches lunch at school.
You're thinking about canned tuna, those, aren't you?
Yeah. I think
flakes.
I'm not sure if I've ever had proper tuna. You know how it's so expensive. You know how they catch it and they sell it for so much money.
Yeah, I think it's only because of sushi restaurants. I think there was a really big one.
Oh, I would have thought it was because they flake it up and put it into tins, and you can get, for a massive fish, you get a lot of product. But I don't know. I'm not sure of why it's so expensive.
So from my understanding, sushi restaurants, they charge more for the fatty parts of the tuna. Okay. Because when you have it in sushi, it's really tender, so it's just really soft. And I think that's the fattiest part of the tuna is the most expensive. I think you can get a la carte from a restaurant for like £9-10 for just one piece. But I find it more of as an experience rather than enjoying to get full. Because if you want to enjoy to get full, go to a buffet. I think that's the best way.
I love buffets. You know I love buffets.
Like I can't go to buffet.
You have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, and it's just if you ask me today, go to a buffet, and I went to Cosmo the other day, I'll say no.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that's our view on sushi. Obviously, you said that Japanese food was your favorite.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're Filipino.
Yep.
How does Filipino food rank in your opinion?
I mean, there's certain dishes that are really good, like lechon.
The Pokemon.
Pretty much a what do you call it?
Pork.
Yeah, grilled pig, basically.
Yeah.
That you can't go wrong with sinigang, which is just basically a sour stew that we usually have.
Lumpia?
That's good too, but you can get that in other places. So spring rolls, you can get it from
fair enough.
dim sum places. So to me, I think those are the standout ones for me because you don't really get them anywhere.
Yeah. I haven't really ventured into Filipino food.
Jollibee.
We had Jollibee. That was nice. Right, so we're going to go into our film segment this time. I'm going to do this way around today. And our film today is a classic. Right, so...
Really?
JB had only seen it for the first time a few months ago when we watched it at my house.
Yep.
But it's an old film. I think 1979, I think it was, nominated for the best film, and it won the best film. And the star of it was nominated for an Oscar. And you wouldn't expect him to be nominated for an Oscar these days. And the film, of course, is Rocky, the classic boxing film, an underdog film.
Yep.
Where the Italian stallion is randomly chosen by the champion Apollo Creed to fight in I think it's bicentennial bout.
Okay.
And I've grown up with the Rocky franchise. I've watched all the Rockies, including the two Creeds, which are the most recent versions of Rocky, which doesn't focus on him boxing, but more as a trainer. And I love them. I think all of them are great, except maybe number 5. Number 5, I don't think you've never seen it, but number 5, Rocky isn't a boxer anymore. He's trained someone, and that person betrays him.
Okay.
It isn't all that. But on this classic film, you have a different opinion to most of the general public. Yeah,
well, it's more of, I think, a lot of the... I just feel like the music, the movie is very outdated. I would just say that. I think nowadays, I would enjoy watching KSI versus Jake Paul rather than Apollo Creed versus Rocky.
No way.
But, you know, 'cause to me, I think it's again, I felt like just how it is. A lot of scenes there were just him walking on the street. And to me, I feel like it wasn't necessary. And also, perhaps it was okay during the time when that movie was filmed, where certain scenes, like nowadays, it's very... You won't see that. You won't see extended parts of the movie where she's just walking.
I think it's because mainly this generation and the most recent generation before us have less of attention spans.
True.
Like that's why TikTok is so big.
Big shorts.
It's literal shorts. So, like YouTube's jumped on that bandwagon doing YouTube shorts. Instagram's got Reels. There are extended scenes in there that you won't get these days that Marvel won't do because they know that their audiences won't actually keep to it. But I think that's what brings out the flavor of Rocky, is that he's this bum, he's this lonely guy who randomly gets a chance to prove himself and does well.
It potentially as well at that time. Maybe storylines like that weren't probably as big, or it's probably one of the first ones that have any storylines like that. But nowadays, people root for the underdogs. People want the underdogs to win. And I'm pretty sure there's so many movies like that. I can't think of anything at the moment, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, most Marvel films these days are like if you think Ragnarok, he loses everything, and then he comes back.
He comes back stronger.
Yeah, a lot of them obviously take from Rocky. If you see boxing films, you'll see a lot of montages that you can tell the director has watched Rocky. I remember a recent film with Tom Hardy, Warrior. When that came out, everyone was like, "Oh, I remember a review saying that's all 5 Rockies rolled into one, or something like that." So it stood the test, and people are constantly inspired by it. Like Family Guy, I think, has ripped it off like 4 times. The most recent one I remember is Rocky 4 was against a Russian.
Okay, yeah.
And so they did Peter Griffin versus Vladimir Putin, and I thought that was quite funny.
I would actually want to add, the funniest thing is that I mentioned that I was going to watch Rocky to one of my colleagues, and she suddenly sings to me the tune, which is dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
But during that time, because I haven't watched the movie, I had no clue that song was from that movie. So I was just like, I just nodded to it, and now I realize what she was trying to say, and I just never. I remember it would be on movies, or not movies, but like in the internet, in like clips, even
adverts use it.
Exactly. But I didn't know it was actually from that movie. Funnily enough,
it's such a popular
iconic
tune.
That's what I would say. It's pretty iconic, but I don't know.
And considering it was a low budget film, and it was, I remember reading that it was shot in 30 days, so it took a month only. Like we did one podcast, it took us like 4 hours. So
low budget too.
Yeah. But a whole Oscar winning film in 30 days is a great feat.
True.
Considering around that time there were the likes of Scorsese breaking through, there was the Godfather and all of that, like around that period, and obviously Italian American stuff was big.
Big, yep.
So Rocky, obviously being Italian American, was a decent, like, you compared to Godfather, people won't be like, oh yeah, Rocky's great.
It's not good,
but it is a good.
It stands on its own, I would say. It does, as you say, won nominated, or did you?
It won the best film.
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone was nominated for the best actor.
Best actor, okay.
And surprisingly, a few years later, he was nominated for, well, not a few decades later, nominated again for another Oscar, second one, for Creed. So it's the same franchise a few decades later. But I think loads of people are inspired by Rocky. It's always referenced. I always hear people talking about Rocky Balboa or even Apollo Creed. Probably Sylvester Stallone's most popular, is where people probably know him most from around the world.
Probably Rambo
as well, around the same time. Same as well. Actually, I remember telling you about this when we watched it, about how Rambo isn't what you expect it to be. Like Rocky isn't what you expect it to be, because you think, oh, it's just a guy that wants a box. and people think, oh yeah, Rambo's an action masculinity film, but there's a lot more to it. So yeah, Stallone. I think it was his second film he was in, but first film where he was a major part of it. And he did, obviously. It was amazing. You don't think so, but yeah, or like it's surprising that it's lasted this long as well. It's like, you know how Fast and Furious, like the first one was in 2001, and now they're bringing out number 10 soon, aren't they?
Yeah, but then again, with those movies, I think they just try and put out as much as they can with Fast and Furious movies,
which is what sort of happened with Rocky, because they knew everyone was watching it. But I think from Rocky 1, 2, 3 and 4, brilliant. Like Rocky 4 is my favourite. Faces off against the Russian Ivan Drago. Obviously it's a patriotic film.
What's his line?
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah,
that's one of the greatest lines. It's a propaganda film. So they were up against Russia during the Cold War during that time. I just think Rocky is one of the greatest things to ever be shown on film. So yeah, cool. What would you give it out of 10?
I would say it's better than Everything Everywhere.
Okay, and you gave that 4 out of 10 last
4 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would say 6 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe lower end of 6.
I'll go more 8.5.
Yeah, fair.
It's not a perfect film. There are bits where you're just like, okay, stop rambling, please, Sylvester. But yeah, I'll give it 8.5 out of 10.
Cool.
Excellent.
Now we're in my favourite section of the podcast, where Muna over here has to review shoes. And for this episode, we are reviewing one of the most popular shoes right now, actually. It is the Nike Dunk. This is in the, I can't remember what colour this is, gym red colour, which came out a week ago probably. So it's pretty much just white, red, with a bit of yellow here. So just a very simple colorway. Dunk, everybody knows what that is. What do you think of this?
Okay. So I don't actually mind it too much. Compared to the Yeezys, it looks better.
Okay.
Like it's better on the eyes. What I don't like, so I'll speak about what the first thing I noticed about this was the Nike tick. So it goes into this weird stitch here.
Right. Okay. I can see.
I don't like that.
That's just.
I think it's just
so minor. It
is, but it's one thing that caught my attention straight away.
Let me guess what the other one is.
What's that?
Issue.
Laces. Yeah. To be fair, the laces are fine. Most shoes have these holes in them nowadays, don't they?
Yeah, it's more for ventilation. Because from my understanding, these used to be supposed to be for basketball.
Okay.
Back in the days.
What, they're called dunks? Would that be?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Probably. That's probably right.
Just let me do a slam dunk.
Yeah, it makes you jump higher.
The sole's decent. It's got cool patterns here. What's that? That's like a
circle.
A spaceship sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Death Star.
Death Star. That's quite cool. Obviously, I'm not sure what material it is, but it feels nice. The color's okay. You said what, gym red?
Yeah,
I have no idea what a gym red is.
I think that's just it's just a tone. So the way the Nike does it is they have different shades of red, and it's called gym red. That kind of red.
But yeah. So what size are these?
11. Let's just say 10, 11, something like that.
10 or 11. I think a lot better than the Yeezys, just the slides.
Okay.
And it doesn't do too much. Like a lot of shoes these days do too much, in my opinion, in terms of how they look and.
Sure.
Yeah, because there's a lot of. I'm not going to name drop any of the brands or anything, but they have weird soles and they have all sorts of random crap. But yeah, I don't mind these too much. I would, if I was a millionaire, I probably would wear these.
Okay.
I wouldn't buy them. How much would you say retail is?
So that's actually really interesting. So retail of Dunks just has gone up by, in the UK at least, for £10, and the quality is still really bad. So Dunks have been very infamous for being really bad leathers.
Okay.
There's actually a YouTube channel that covers actual leather and shoes. He cuts up some shoes open, and one of the worst.
Yeah, okay.
One of the worst. As you can see, it's, well, you can probably feel it. It's quite plasticky, the leather. Doesn't really. And yeah, I don't know why they increased the price. I'm not trying to.
So £10 to what?
So now it is £100. It used to be
so
90
£90,
quid.
okay.
But this one is £100. So this was one of the first dunks that had the price increase.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't buy these. £100 for this.
Yeah, £100 for laces, for shoes with laces. No thanks.
Pretty sure I can get better ones on Amazon for like 30 quid.
Yeah. AliExpress.
Yeah.
It'll come to you in a year's time, don't worry.
It'll come to you in pieces, but at least it'll be better quality than this. But yeah, so out of 10, I give it a Muna review.
Muna out of 10.
What did I give the Yeezys? I gave that what? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go for a 6. I think.
Okay, surprisingly, I thought you didn't like dunks.
So if the price was cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm not too fussed about laces. I will attempt to do them. But yeah, if it was cheaper, I reckon I would buy them because they don't look too bad.
Cool. Yeah.
What's your professional?
Interesting enough, I don't own any because I don't think the quality's that good, and I like having things that are going to last me a long time. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to last me a long time. So I actually don't own any. But I would say this colorway is pretty cool. But I would rate it the same as you, 6 out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah, it wouldn't be my number one choice. I would wear it if there's no other choice. But yeah, same as the Yeezys, I think, for me.
I think that's a 2 men, 1 beard first, but we actually agree.
We agreed on this song.
But yeah, so I don't mind Nikes. I'm not someone that goes for flash. You know, I don't go for shoes.
Yeah.
I think if they're comfortable, if I like the look of them, I think that's what I go for. And these aren't too bad, but the price is just ridiculous.
What if they're endorsed by The Rock?
I did. I did buy a shoe endorsed by The Rock once, and it was really comfortable, but I messed it up by changing the laces.
Okay.
And I ruined them. So that was my fault. The shoe was really good, but yeah. So 6 out of 10 for both.
6 out of 10. Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah, and we actually got on famously there.
You deserve
we have no idea what that was. But yeah, if we have an audience that's actually watching this, if you want to give that a name, we'll be willing to listen to ideas.
Well, give us some suggestions what we could call that.
Yeah, and also in terms of suggestions, if you guys have a shoe that you find wacky or weird or something you just want an opinion on before you buy it, obviously my opinion is the one that you should listen to in terms of shoes. So send it in. Obviously don't send the actual shoe in. Send in a picture or a link to the site, and we'll give it a review. Because obviously at the moment we've done Adidas Yeezys and we've done Nike Dunks, but we know that there are off-brand shoes that look weird and wonderful. And yeah, we'll be definitely willing to review that. And that includes films as well. So if there's films that you want us to review, maybe you and your friends want to go watch it on Netflix or something, and we have the time to watch it. That's the worst thing about films, is having time.
Sorry, my life.
Yeah. We'll definitely give it a go and see what you guys think.
Cool. Sounds good.
Excellent. Okay, guys, so we're actually going to be wrapping up episode 2 in a minute.
Yep.
I'm quite surprised we've got this far.
It's a lot quicker, than episode 1.
We had a lot of problems with episode 1, but I think we've done quite well. We're going to try and think of something to talk about. This is the issue we have, is that we had this whole idea set where we're going to review shoes and review films, and then we like to talk, so let's find topics to talk about. So the most recent thing JB and I done together, other than this podcast, is we have recently gone to the gym together.
Yep.
I need it because I want to get rid of some of this. He's already quite hench, but
not really. I wish
he wants to get to that point where the ladies are like, oh, look at that guy, look at him.
No, I know. I go to the gym for the men. Go to the gym for the men.
But yeah, so we recently started going together. I got a membership which allows me to bring a buddy, and obviously JB is the buddy that I take with me. I'm quite enjoying it, to be fair. I'm quite tense all the time now. Quite a bit of pain, but I think that's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you you get used to it. It just depends on how hard you tend to work and how you progress with your with gym, because at first it'll hurt a lot more than,
I guess that makes sense. But obviously it might have been because you made me do pull-ups and stuff.
I didn't know, it was your choice. That was your choice.
To be fair, I've always been worried about that. If any of you go to the gym, or even if you don't, there's a machine, which is the dip assist and chin assist machine. And I've always been worried about that, because I was like, what if I just go straight down and plummet to the floor? But I tried it, and I think I did all right with it.
I was sort of impressed.
To be fair, I was proud I was able to do it, and I was able to do about 6 reps of a pull-up as well. I'm not going to try it without the assist just yet, because I have a feeling that either I'm going to crash on my ass, or I'm going to bring the whole machine down with me. But yeah, that's quite an interesting workout.
To be honest, I think it's the first few ones that you'll struggle with the most. Once you get to the rhythm of it, it just comes. It's so, like, after a while, once you can do one, you start to progress to do more, and from then on, it's a really good exercise. I would say. I must admit. Especially for the back, I think is one of the biggest ones that I tend to do, but I still use assisted one because I can't really fully do one. I think balance is a very big factor.
I have zero balance.
Yeah, I have zero balance. I used to be balancing was something I used to do a lot. I'm not sure if you remember. I used to dance in school. Yeah. And there was a period where I would try and venture into breakdancing and get a bit of a balance.
What was that thing called? I remember the other day I called it a frog stance. What would you call it?
It wasn't. So I think
the one where you put your hands through your legs and then lift, like hold yourself up.
That's just a freeze. That's just a beginner freeze.
I have literally no idea. I could never do it. So
I think it's just and I used to do this thing called tried to at least. There's a thing called the air chair where you're literally balancing yourself with one hand. And I used to be able to do it. I don't know if I could now, but yeah, maybe that's for another episode. But yeah, balancing used to be something I used to do, but now I think ever since after uni, it just hasn't been. I don't know. It hasn't been interesting for me to dance. I don't know. Just lost my passion for it, I guess.
Yeah, I remember you guys would always dance.
Yeah.
I could never do that. I could never dance like that. My dance is more of crashing into things and making a fool of myself. But I remember you guys doing all those poses and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet, to be fair. I used to have a little bit of a balance when from the age of like 8 to about 14. I did Kung Fu.
Okay.
I enjoyed. I wish that was something. I wish I carried on.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just got busy, and like with GCSEs coming up and wanting to hang out with my mates and stuff. It was every Saturday, and I was like, come on, I'm a teenager. I can't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning every day to go. But yeah, I'm really enjoying going to the gym. It's a shame that we're going to go 4 times a month.
Yeah, with a buddy.
But yeah, it's fun. I'm hoping to find out what my weaknesses are, because I'm not trying to brag. I'm naturally strong, but when you get to the gym, there's different things that you can't do. So you send me, I can do about 400 on a leg press.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like
upper body.
Yeah, and
it's a lot different.
And even I think one of the things is mainly because I did arms last time I went. Like barbell curls and all of that, especially my left arm. Like, and there's no reason why my right arm's stronger than my left, but I struggled even on a lighter weight. I was like, what is this?
I think it's just your form. I think it's just because it's very rare that you'll lift anything like that in real life.
Yeah,
that's why genuinely when people do triceps, it's a lot easier because you use that more.
Yeah.
Your bike who? Boy racer outside?
Yeah, it seems about 2 motorbikes just went past. I'm sorry if your eardrums burst there. Mine did.
But yeah, I mean, triceps, there's some parts, I would say in general as well, a lot more people can lift more with their legs because considering people are standing
like
up.
my legs lift me up every day.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I always say. Like my legs, you can't see it, but they're the skinniest part of me, and it's because I always say it's because it lifts me up every day, and I'm quite a heavy weight, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think gym life might be a more frequent thing.
It's definitely good for you.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters. It's always good to have a hobby that's quite a fitness side.
Yeah, because our main hobby is eating, so it's good to have one that is the opposite. Yeah. But yeah, my biggest thing in the gym is if I'm doing something wrong, people will
judge you.
Yeah. I hope it's not like that, because I know that there's some exercises. I obviously have the Muscle Wiki app, so I pick what parts I want to train. I watch it, but then I'm like, am I actually doing this right? It's like, I think I was doing deadlifts the other day, and some guy was looking at me. I was like, is he thinking I'm doing it wrong? Like, I wish people would come up to me if I am doing it wrong and say, this is how you actually do. I won't be offended if people do that.
That's what I did.
yeah. Like what was I doing? It was
your deadlift.
Yeah.
With your deadlift.
And yeah, I wish more people just came up to me. Like, I do see people. I'm not sure if they're staring at me because they're like, "Oh, what's that fat guy doing here?" Because the gym I think we go to, there's not a lot of people like me in there. But yeah, I think self-consciousness is a big thing for me in a gym.
Mm-hmm.
And
you get over it really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what most people are scared of when they first go to the gym, is people judging them and seeing, and you not being able to know what you work out. But props to you, you've gone to the gym.
Yeah, he's made it. On and off for a few years. I mean, before COVID, we went to one of the gyms a few times in the city centre. But yeah, when COVID hit, it was like my excuse not to go again. So yeah, I'm quite glad we're going back.
Yeah. Should we end it here?
Yeah. I think that's a good point to end.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Next
hopefully.
episode.